Started over because when you come to the party without following the dress code, what happens? Slime. You get the Slimer effect. And maybe planet Earth might be something like that in a hidden attribute, right? Original open source, whatever. And maybe it's up to us to find out the dress code. And we don't necessarily know the dress code. Simultaneously, we have to find out the dress code and quote unquote our quote unquote life's purpose, right? And since the life purpose varies, it just might be it's just a different challenge because I'm trying to be graceful within, like, we all get it. Like, people compare out of the asshole, right? Behind the scenes in the shadow works, it's like, oh, let's compare this archetype to this archetype. They're kind of similar, they're kind of different, and they just look kind of similar, they look kind of different. So behind the scenes, we're going to compare them and we're going to make fun of them, and then we're going to have our own cheese mess circle, dramatic circle of just like, ha ha ha, this is what we're doing behind the scenes, and we think no one's going to fucking see us. But in reality, there's different spirits that are watching us, and everybody's being watched in different fucking contexts at all times, right? Shout out to that Rick and Morty season where the government just reveals in plain sight, hidden in plain sight in the fucking entertainment media, is in one of the seasons of Rick and Morty, they're saying they have satellite fucking infrared technology where they could see through the fucking houses on their physical perspective forefront level from the government, right? So if the physical government has that, don't you think a different higher intelligence would have that? So at all times, aside from the surface level human intelligence, we're always being watched at all times, at all fucking moments, right? Even if we think we're not being watched, it's just a very niche perspective and a spy pursuit, right? We're always being watched, and it's up to us within our own spiritual growth and maturity to quote unquote like resonate with that shit. So I just did a 3 minute underground video. I mean, not underground. I just did a 3 minute what do you call that, short video or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And within that 3 minute short video, I took it upon myself to do it 3 minutes because I thought, as opposed to live, because I thought I was just gonna say a little mini. She wants a 12. Just get out. Okay, okay. I need to edit that part out. Um, that was that. Okay, that I shouldn't have not said that. Um, but um I did a 3 minute video because I thought I was just gonna say a mini phrase and quote and then play guitar. But it turns out from that last 3 minute short, I I ended up quote unquote being rantadocious or whatever. And I always got more raps. I'm always hearing beats. I always got more fresh raps, and the surface level masses, they could just try to like they could just try to, like, I guess, do whatever the fuck they want, kind of shit, right? Until like they meet their own hypocrisy self, right? Because when we're talking about the shadow, it's not necessarily just like so cut and dry to say the shadow is just this one linear thing. No, the shadow is everything in the unconscious and some that is kind of like creeping into like different areas of the consciousness that is suppressed to our surface level self, that is also connected to a collective shadow, right? So the shadow is quote unquote diverse, just like every race is diverse. You want to know what I think about every race of people? Fill in the blank, whatever race you're thinking about, because the human mind is just kind of conditioned to focus on, like, oh, this people this people that, this people this. Let's compare. Let's try to put someone above me or below me so I could feel my fucking control dynamic ego, right? So going back to the other point is saying, oh, I just lost the other point. It's saying, oh yeah, the shadow. So the shadow is like it's suppressed. It's things. It's like we don't. It's a lifelong work to fucking fuck with our the real quote unquote the healed version of the shadow as opposed to the non-healed version of the shadow, and seeing how the collective healed version of the shadow and the collective non-healed version of the shadow, how that shit is saying is still fucking picking itself up, updating itself, and seeing what's okay to a fucking higher shadow, right? So this is like this is literally in between the lines onto under in the paint. It literally is the number one shit. And if y'all have a fear response, that's okay. The collective shadow sees that motherfucking shit, you know? So the last 3 minute video is pretty much the kicker introduction to this motherfucking shit right here. And um go check out the 3 minute video I did before this motherfucking shit. So now I'm on live, right? So obviously live is kind of like it's kind of like stringy, stringy, bingy, bangy, blingy, dingy, dangy, hingy, hangy. I always got spits too, you know. But what am I really trying to say here? I'm trying to say is like the shadow and the waking version, their approaches to a different quote unquote whatever we're viewing as what's ideal and appropriate from quote unquote society's point of views, which that it could be bullshit in itself, is like what am I trying to say is like it has to fucking figure out stuff for itself, and it has to kind of see when not to be rigid. Because if and I'm learning, I'm only expressing this so I could reflect and learn, and if y'all learn and whatever the fuck you want to do with it, so be it, right? But why the fuck would you do this, right? Obviously someone could think I'm stupid and retarded, and to some degree and in some universal perspective, maybe so, right? Maybe not though, right? Because it's a different, it's a different type of spiritual approach or whatever. But it's like, what are we really trying to figure out, right? The thing that we're trying to figure out is if you're too rigid, not good, not bad, but it could be, you could be too closed off to what could be available for you, right? And for you to quote unquote receive the what's available for you, you have to come somewhatly like prepared energetically, right? And if you're not prepared energetically, then the opportunity won't be there, right? So finding your purpose and just being like tested, right, by the reality. That's because earlier I was talking about like oh, the metaphorical dress code. So the two things I'm the two integers I'm dancing with here is quote unquote in my particular spiritual approach or whatever the fuck. It's like in the fucking arena of life, we have to simultaneously, or we have to do two like things casually without like without the ego mind, without the competition, without the surface level human envy, respectively, is we have to find the dress code and our life's purpose, and respectively the third one would be which was already in the pre-aforementioned statements, is saying seeing how our shadow is doing all of this crazy shit, right? The shadow, the unhealed shadow could kind of stall us, not good, not bad. It's just the nature of the brutal energetics. The shadow could stall us or support us within the dress code of life itself. So look at why is suffering existing? I asked that question like 9 fucking years ago, right? Why is suffering existing? Because some shadows' rigidity got the best of them, where they're overly stubborn and now they're overly confused, and their energetic responses, outputs, and inputs don't want to follow the dress code. It's a certain context distortion of quote unquote rebellion, without getting lost in the words, right? Because obviously these words it's a context thing, so don't get lost in any word, like anything you could think of, right? It's just like you got to jump out of that. So like what am I trying to say is like, why does suffering exist? Because on an energetic level, and obviously it's a percentage thing, I originally said that in the underground on my own accord, right? And like whatever yada 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 is like saying why does suffering exist? Because somewhere in the energetic individual, they don't want to follow the modern dress code, and their shadow is playing an old game, and they don't realize what God's purpose is for them. So why is it important to say that particularly, right? Particularly that, right? What is God's purpose for you? Because God, quote unquote, is the quote unquote, most respectively, the original blueprint. So wouldn't the original blueprint have the necessary original ingredients for you to piece up your quote unquote moving working purpose, so you could so you fucking sustain that shit and keep going with whatever the fuck you're doing? Of old guard with, it's like, it's as if it's really as if like within the old guard, it's as if like God planned that shit. It's as if like he like planned it, right? It's as if like this was an advanced resonance machine, spiritually speaking. What do I mean by advanced resonance machine? Like there had to be a period of time where there had to be less bliss and more hardship so we could appreciate the bliss, and that it could be balanced on a different level. And obviously you could, the other points will come up later and before within speaking of like why the fuck why like why what do you call that, like why things were the way they were within the last age, right? Who, with however much it spanned, right? And obviously it's various as well, because time isn't necessarily linear as we're coming to understand, right? So I encourage you to watch this the 3 minute short video, because it's the first part to this fucking live. And within now this live, what am I talking about in this live is just saying this is my own this is my own testament to, going slightly beyond the rhetoric and not demonizing any type of rhetoric, just seeing how it's used, but me following up on that rhetoric to actually flow. And then from that flow, a different working realization happens, because once you ask the question to the fucking universe or God or whatever the fuck you want to call it, once you ask that question, that's, and you know what, it's funny because that's what's actually like giving you the answer, right? What, like it's just a very particular like process, right? So once you ask the question itself, whatever the question is, energetically it'll eventually come back to you. So it says somewhere in the Bible, quote unquote, ask and you shall receive type of shit. Metaphysically, that is true, because once you ask the question and you send it out to the fucking universe through some catered subjective energetic process to you, then the answer starts showing up because you asked the particular question. And that's a different, lane than, the quote unquote material affairs, not good, not bad. The working spiritual, what do you call that? Intellect, and the working, just the quality and the, excuse me, just the attribution and just the possibility of the quote unquote the air. It's a different lane than just the physical stuff, but obviously they could intertwine though, right? So even though there could be a physical surface level game of, yeah, let's block this fucker's manifestation, yeah, let's block this abundance, let's fucking like attack them and just have some type of mental rape game, right? So that mental rape game, it's still like it's it's in the middle, that's kind of separated from your own communication with God, right? And obviously, since I said that, the esoteric predecessors say whatever you say, there could be a opposer to it. The sentinels are hearing, so now they're in some balanced to non-balanced way. Now they're gonna try to fuck that up, right? So now that I said the gem, that we have the good gratitude gift to have some type of quote unquote communication with God by standard matrix protocols from the old guard to some percentage, now there could be a possibility of trying to thwart your communication with God to whatever agenda they could do it, right? So in the previous 3 minute video, what was I saying in the previous 3 minute video? Well, you're gonna have to go back to that 3 minute video, and you're gonna have to see that 3 minute video of what I was talking about, and it's the short, and these will both be public because this is my own flow of shit. This is me showing up within my the fucking the energetic quote unquote talents that I have, right? The air, the wind, and obviously I'm not just we're not just subject to one element, but if we are like kind of prominent in one, that will get put to the test. Particularly, it seems like with like just the fucking cardinal air, right? The cardinal air being like the third deacon. We're gonna finish the fucking air test. The first deacon, we're gonna try to like scramble to know about the test, and the second deacon, we're just in the fucking test, right? And we're gonna make the most of it. And like the females, they're just gonna do the fucking heightened Venus shit of just like, hey, we're just gonna express this shit, and we're gonna fucking be the agency itself to maybe be some fucking hookers, right? I don't know, maybe like, but maybe but put that in the underground right there, right? And I'm not demonizing anything. I'm just saying like within Mercury ascending, from a different place of not good, not evil, everything is will be subject to be entertained, right? And from that entertainment, even though it could be a crazy, not like a not orderly experiment, there's still a secret order because we're seeing what could come of it based on your request from your shadow, right? From your shadow agency, original, open source, most respectively, most balanced at this point, right? And because like we don't really understand what real neutrality is. We could just follow up on it, and we could investigate it, and we could parade with it, and we could put the emblem of the fucking rhetoric of it. But if you're not about that, then a different opposition from maybe God or whatever, the universe might fucking check that, right? Because in the surface level, the esoteric predecessors from like 2015, they're saying like whatever you're kind of like more or less like voicing out in the reality, and you're trying to be your own creator God in a neutral sense, that could be tested by the surface level matrix reality because they're sentinels from the old guard, right? And those sentinels from the old guard, they're from that surface, not good, not bad. It just is what it is. That's the sentinels from the old guard. They're just following protocols from an operational mechanical standpoint, right? Not good, not bad. It just is what it is. And from that, since the matrix is changing on such a drastic level, those sentinels, their programs and their protocols of approach are changing entirely, right? So since the sentinels are changing entirely, that means there's no choice for us to develop a new approach, no matter how much demonic, hysterical, shadow Mercury or shadow Saturn or shadow Venus you are most respectively, because there's a bigger change than what you've been told. A bigger change and a bigger change and a bigger change, because we've never seen an alignment like this. This is the closing of the darkness, and now from the closing of the darkness, now we have to rebuild up from that closing of the darkness. And it's quote unquote, you could say it's only up from here, but not necessarily, because we're still working with the old guards' demonic mentalities, their applications, their crafts, and their emotions, and their creations, original open source, right? And like underground 2010 shit, the real Galactic Center has to know the real shit on a neutral level beyond all your favorite tech companies, because it knows what's sourcing what. So on a neutral fatty fat fuck level, it will be taken to the balanced international courts beyond all the mortal shit on an energetic neutral level, because this is the most advanced number one intellect. And I don't really care about anybody's demonic agendas of like, oh, now he put himself vulnerable, now he's gonna fucking like now he fucking sabotaged his life. That's not necessarily true. I'm upholding a different balance as it is, right? And I'm making the possibility for the future for a different arena of homeostasis, be mindful of the words, to be the possibility. So all of the hype and all of the pleasure and all of the fucking indulging and all of the fucking like and all of the fucking what do you call that, vanity, that shit wouldn't be a fucking thing without a certain energetic foundation, right? So all of that, you're just kind of like you're energetically paying for that. You're esoterically using your efforts and your wits and your mights. You're using some type of energetic fuel, esoteric fuel, to fucking even get that, right? But what's giving you the fuel to get that? So it's beyond all of the pre-aforementioned, it's beyond all of the fucking, all of that fucking vanity hype, right? What is the vanity hype? Everybody, and I'm not demonizing it. It's seeing like how you have a particular type of energetic opportunity to pay attention, to use some type of esoteric currency and fuel, original open source, on if you, and please understand that and pause, so you could actually go towards feeling like, oh, I'm at fucking 2026 Vanity Fair, and now I feel all fucking vanned out, and as I'm feeling all fucking vanned out, I don't even know how I got here, but I do know how I got here a little. I do know what's making this a possibility a little, and my shadow is might be so corrupt and distorted in just such a intricate surface level GMO way. I could bite the hand on a neutral level that feeds me. So that's the fucking demonic hysteria of the not good, not bad, the neutral perspective, the quote unquote, what has become of the shadow Mercury. We're a service agency. Oh, we could help you with this. We could help you with this. Now I file the form. There's a bias. There's a demonic hysteria. Nah, we can't help you with this type of shit. So I encourage you to watch the 3 minute video. It should be uploaded on the short right now. And as that 3 minute video is uploaded on the short right now, and obviously eventually within good company, within a certain, balanced company, that's what we're voting for and hoping for. If that's even a possibility, it's 0.1%. Because obviously we know the reality of the world. It's just outdated as fuck, and it's just like it's distorted as fuck. So it's gonna take a real quote unquote superhero, like not the fucking just the service level fucking just we're just doing this for shits and gigs entertainment, and we're just rolling with the punches type of shit. No, it's a real thing. Like it's a real fucking thing. So what am I really trying to say here? Is like obviously I will make this private because it's like the intelligence. It's just it's Jai Shankar says within his punchlines of the fucking Indian news headlines, and like other people say, you could call it and dub it, classify it unprecedented, right? Because the unprecedentality, it was absent in the old age, right? So the unprecedentality, it was absent for a fucking crazy reason, right? The last age of the last 2,000 to 6,000, probably even 12,000, probably it was probably the last 12,000 years of just a certain type of, it was just less fairness on a big scale, right? So if it's less fairness on a big scale, but that is quote unquote, this too shall pass on a fatter level. It's all temporary on a fatter level. It's 12,000 years temporary. It's still fucking long for the human being, right? 12,000 years, that's a fucking long time, right? So within all of that fucking shit, it's like it is temporary, but it doesn't feel like it's temporary because it's daunting us, right? So within that, why was that 12,000 age of darkness, just intuitively saying that, why was it less fair on an extreme level? It was extremely less fair. It's extremely unfair, and how could you how could someone justify that shit? Because that's the universal karma. The universal karma is saying there's beings on a universal perspective that are just literally trying to fucking go out of pocket with this shit on just on a different original fair pure spiritual level, right? They're trying to oppose the pure balance, right? And if you're trying to oppose a pure balance, where should spirits go if you're trying to oppose a pure balance? Hello, the last 12,000 years of the fucking physical Maya matrix, where spirits like that could fuck around And for some time being, even though it seems like forever, they could fucking try to get a one up, and they could just go totally opposite from pure balance. And to whatever degree you're doing that within your shadow, no judgment from an advanced level, right? Because the mechanics will do what they will do, aside from my human crying, aside from my human bitching, and I'll put that on myself. So I don't like, so I'm careful with, like, not seeing like how someone else could get upset, right? Because the we're not realizing the extremity of reality, right? The extremity of reality is saying there's a universal karma to this shit. And there's higher gods that see exactly what your shadows are doing, and the shadows don't like being exposed, no matter how sophisticated or rich or fancy or fucking however swirly their fucking mustache is, with fucking gorilla glue gel on that fucking swirly cowboy fucking hokey dokey mustache, right? They don't like being exposed. They don't like extreme truth and light. They don't like that shit. It just is what it is, right? And since they don't like that shit, what am I really trying to say here? Since they don't like that shit, they're they don't like the way and how they could newly adapt, or they could. It just depends on the spirit, right? Because no matter what, they're gonna hate how the universe has obviously a power over this whole fucking planet Earth. They're just automatically gonna hate that, right? So there's a nuance and a context to even hatred at an extreme level, because it's your own subjective fucking relationship and how you're conforming to other people's hatred, and that's not your hatred. You're receiving other people's hatred, that's not even your hatred, and you forgot your own hatred, and now you have a forgotten hatred with other people's hatred, and now you have a confused surface level GMO, pouty pooty poopy hatred, right? That you don't even fucking understand, and esoterically you will bite the hand that feeds you. It just is what it is. Y'all could fucking hate me, I don't give a fuck, because I'm on some pure balance shit, right? So within saying all of that, like on an advanced level, since it's the closing of the last age, and it's the closing of the last guard, a bunch of shit could fucking happen, right? Shit we wouldn't even guess could fucking happen. Why and how? Because, quote unquote, and there's a bunch of testimonies that could attest to this within whatever lucky moment you got, higher beings and gods and a bunch of different spirits, good and bad, Enochian and whatever around, whatever's carouseling Enochian shit, just spirits, they could reveal themselves to you. And from why is that important that I'm saying they could reveal themselves to you? Because from how they could reveal themselves to you, they could be at such a higher dimension where they could tell you how this bullshit shit show from the last 12,000 years is particularly getting changed simultaneously for the better and the worse, because it's extreme universal karma. Don't shoot the messenger type of shit. But I don't know. But this reality is fucking crazy, right? So why is it also important to say that as well? Is like, what does it mean that in just different periods of time that higher beings, higher spiritual beings, they can reveal themselves to you? Why is that important? It's important because we could have a particular type of truth and clarity to combat the confusion and fakeness that has a particular type of leading up to a particular type of suffering. We could actually have the antidote for real, beyond any satanic rapist mentality fucking AI person. We could have a real antidote for the suffering itself, right? Or not. So that's why it's effortlessly, energetically, most neutrally, ironically, beyond, Switzerland's fucking UN. That's why, because it's in the paint. It's self-evident. There's a bigger fucking picture for real. And however we respond and react to that, that's just the shadow pool of it, right? That's just the collective shadow pool. And from that collective shadow pool, then we could witness and observe and just listen, hopefully with the quote unquote open heart or whatever. We could see their perspectives of just of their shadow chatter of like, oh, this whatever the fuck they have to say, like, oh, this guy thinks he's the shit, or oh, this guy thinks he's the fucking best, or oh, this guy, whatever the fuck, shadow chatter comes up, just let it pass, let it pass and see the subjectivity of it, and observe how it's updating itself from an esoteric foundation. It doesn't necessarily know, but it could, right? So what am I trying to say? Why is it important to see that, higher beings are revealing themselves to this here and now? Why is that important? Because on a pure balance law perspective, on a universal law perspective, we could actually quote unquote standardly pursue quote unquote justice. And it's not just, don't get lost in the words either, it's just an intuitive thing, right? We could pursue quote unquote justice for a distorted shadow being trying to sabotage your shit or not. So that's the pure balance intellect right there. Underground Quality 2017. To all you fearful fucking CEOs out there that cry for innovation, cry for some type of fucking change, but when it's there, then your shadow wants, your distorted, to some percentage portion level, your distorted shadow wants to have a satanic rapey approach. Fuck that shit, motherfucker. Fuck that, nigga. So what am I trying to say? Why is it important that higher beings are fucking revealing themselves to this fucking surface level shit show right now? Because then we could see in detail how shadows are just distorted, and we could see in detail how pretty much some shadows are just like, just distorted, right? They're just, it's just a distortion at the end of the day. And from that distortion at the end of the day, for us to shield ourselves and protect ourselves from that, we need some type of God light of truth so it doesn't affect us. So that's the essence of fair, pure, balanced law. That could hopefully in the future, on a balanced neutral level, original open source, we could see the best professional foot, or the best professional response from quote unquote the balanced Switzerland. Oh, we're gonna fucking have the fucking policy regulator protocol, this, that, and this shit, but we're only gonna do that to some degree, right? Not good, not bad. In the future, we could see how they could respond to the realest shit in a balanced way. And if you can't do that, your AI is not the best. So majority of the fucking news channels, like, and I'm not saying anything against any country or race, like, oh, China, we're winning the AI race, oh fucking Thailand, oh Malaysia, we're winning the AI race, oh fucking, oh we're fucking, oh fucking what's that place called, Singapore, oh we're winning the fucking AI race, oh Europe, we're winning the fucking AI race, oh Finland, we're winning the AI race, oh Africa, we're gonna copy the fucking balls out of you, oh we're winning the AI race. Fuck that fake news shit, and fucking experience the realest that you could ever experience. Hatred for God's source. And I'm saying all of this standardly, right? It's like just don't cheat the rhetoric. I guess that's what I'm really trying to say. And if you do cheat the rhetoric, shit, man, then my then you know if you cheat the rhetoric, then I don't know, my human literally has to just kind of like it can only like do so much, right? So it's like um you got that juice. This is Lemonade Monster. Shout out to Lemon Monster. A shout out to those races. Too diverse to be racist. Russian roulette. Yo, on that racetrack, gotta get that motor engine in full deck, full equipped, gotta get that coolant, cage it with it, yo, don't overspill it, yo, don't when you dance in boogie with it, yo, hip swaying right to left, left to right, swaying, praying, laying it down, yo, making a way, yo, paving the way, paving it up, yo, stop. With no landscaper, carpenter, laborer, landscaper, on my foot, get that, get the star. I got the motherfucking star blazer. Got the star laser. Got the star blazer. Got the star. Got the star. Got the star. Got the star gliders. Got the star glacier. There is an agency that will actually pursue and follow the prescribed rhetoric of real innovation, be it like whatever, right? So I'm gonna conclude this video. I don't know, like sometimes the video like just kind of like does its own shit. Effortlessly beyond Switzerland 2025, nigga. So the 3-minute video was saying, I mean, it's good to pause, it's good to pause, right? I got the today's expression. Today's out here. I got some guitar in the 3-minute video intro, and now I'll pause and I'm gonna come back, right? Because I just need to like refresh with the message, right? I need to refresh with the message. I'm not gonna like, when you're on the racetrack, when you're turning, you're not gonna fucking go full speed when you're fucking turning, right? So original open source, like, and obviously, like, may I have more grace from the gods, right? May I have more grace. So it's like, God's original angel children that we could classify them as whatever fucking crazy title there is, as like, oh, what's really going on in today's life? Archangels are coming, fucking spirits are coming, all of this crazy shit, jinns are coming, archons are coming, demiurge is coming, like all of this shit, it's all supposedly it's all from God, quote unquote. But the point is, God's original angel children could protect you, right? Or not, right? That's the whole fucking, and it's funny because this is the best hype, because everyone in low key is like, they want some type of fucking, they want some type of fucking like like safety, right? And I'm just like, I'm just doing me. I'll come back. I'll come back.